G'day, Chris Walker here, and now we're going to work on nature's law of appreciation. Now, today is all about environment, and we are the environment we create. And last week we talked about the environment being your office, going out in nature and making sure that the world that surrounds you reflects back to you an impression that is really important, and that is an impression of your core values and your aspirations. Today I would like to talk about your inner environment, and we're going to use nature's law of appreciation. What you appreciate grows, to develop that idea. So there's a little picture here which is not very clear, but what it basically says is every day what I'd like you to do is draw a circle on a piece of paper with lines radiating out, and what I'd like you to do is convert one thing every day from I don't appreciate it to I do appreciate it. So for example, there's financial there. You can see that's one of the areas of the circle. And you might say, I lost money yesterday. What I'm going to ask you to do is how can you appreciate, let's say you lost $10 and you go, what I don't appreciate is I lost $10 yesterday. The question is, how can you turn something that you aren't thankful for into something that you are? I lost $10 yesterday and therefore I appreciate my money more, or I appreciate that I gave some charity. I appreciate the art of letting go. You learned something from it. Mental, you might say, I don't appreciate failing that exam. Well, what's the benefit of it? I failed the exam, but I'm thankful that I had the experience of sitting it, or I'm thankful that I now know that I need to study harder. We can learn from everything. So basically, we go around the circle every single day, and you're wise to do this when you first get out of bed. It's spectacular exercise because gratitude inspires the heart, and gratitude orders thinking. So what you're thankful for becomes ordered, and what you're not thankful for becomes chaotic and disordered. And so you can see when people get off track, what they're basically saying is they're not thankful for something. And when that not thankfulness happens, it starts up a polarity. They say, I'm not thankful for it, therefore I'll go over here and avoid it. Now they're in a place which is possibly not authentic, because now they've moved to avoid something they're not thankful for, rather than to process it and then make decisions about where you go and don't go based on purpose rather than on judgments and criticism. So it's a great exercise to start off with. The next thing I'd like you to do is take a piece of paper and draw a circle. And on that circle, divide it up into 7. If you like, you can divide it into 8. It doesn't matter because it makes just 4 crossed lines. Score them: health, relationship, social, spiritual, mental, financial, career. And basically what I'm going to ask you to do is to score the outside of the circle 10 out of 10, the inside center of the circle 0. And I'd like you to score yourself how you think, where you think you're at along that line. So you might say, oh, I'm a 5 in health, I'm a 7 in relationship, I'm a 2 in social, I'm a 4 in spiritual, etc., etc. You go around and you'll end up joining the dots with something like this. Now, it's really important here for you to understand something. What happens when people subconsciously are scoring themselves? Because we score ourselves every day. Where am I at in my career? Where am I at financially? Where am I at mentally? Quite often we get a downer. We get, like, as you can see in this picture, we can see the dark line. There's the person scored themselves, let's say 5 in their social life. And quite often they'll start making a big effort to improve their social life. I mean, the problem is they're going to rob Peter to pay Paul, because they'll take energy from somewhere else to improve that area of life. Now, this is a massive piece of this body of work that we're doing in the 30-day challenge, is to understand that other people have different values than us. And so their recommendations as to how we spend our time and how we spend our energy and where we need to improve and where we don't need to improve, their recommendations are based on their value set. It's the same with us looking at others. And we're going to talk a lot about this tomorrow when we do our values. So anyway, for now, you've now scored yourself in the 7 areas of life and drawn a little picture. The question I've got to going to ask you is, how can you make each of those areas go out to 10 out of 10? Now, this is basically the Buddhist philosophy of appreciate what you've got, don't want what you haven't got. And so in order to find peace of mind, every now and again, I'm not saying we do this all day, every day, but every now and again, 3 or 4 times a day, we can actually say, I'm a 10 out of 10. And the way we do that, for example, health, you might be overweight and looking at all the things that are wrong. But if you start to add up and you listen to the principle and it says nothing's missing, changes, it just changes in form. You go around and you say, well, my health might not be in my body. Where is my health? My health is in my friendships. My health is in my family. My health is in my love of nature. My health is in my the fact that I can see, the fact that I can care with people. So I have health. It's not necessarily as I defined health originally. We can leave that as an acknowledgement. You've scored yourself some score out of 10 in health, and there is room for improvement. But what we're going to do is we're going to come to a place of thankfulness. Now, thankfulness, as I've said earlier, creates the environment, creates our magnetism. The more thankful we are, the more present we become. So sometimes, especially if we're teaching or we're in a meeting, it's really important to come to absolute presence, 100% turn up. Now, to 100% turn up, you need to be 100%, 10 out of 10, thankful for every 7 areas of life. And there are going to be, in terms of our goal list, you're going to say, well, I'm not 10 out of 10. I have things I want to achieve. And you can go, yep, they're all fixed. They're all goals. That's how we run our motivate our life. But the state of mind we're in when we turn up for somebody else, when we turn up as a father or as a mother or as a friend or as an employee, when we turn up to deliver or to be there for somebody, to service their needs, we need to be in a great space. And that great space is 10 out of 10 in the 7 areas of life. So another example, you might say I'm 3 financially compared to where I want to be, which would make me a 10. And I say, well, nothing's missing, just changes in form. Where is your wealth? And you say, well, it's in the fact that I've got a healthy body, and it's in the fact that I've got lots of knowledge. It's in the fact that I've got a great family. That's wealthy. Because if I started, if you said, oh, I'm only 3 out of 10 in wealth, and I said, how much would you, how much would you sell me your eyeball for? And it would be many millions of dollars. So we have wealth, and sometimes we just don't appreciate the form it's in. And there's an old quote that says, if you don't appreciate it the way that you've got it, you won't get it the way that you want it. If you don't appreciate it the way that you've got it, you won't get it the way that you want it. In other words, be thankful for what you've got and you'll get what you want. The other interesting thing about this is my magic wand trick. And I say to people, if suddenly I waved a magic wand right now and moved your score to 10 out of 10 in all the 7 areas of life and you were 100% complete, and I came back in 6 months' time, what do you think would happen? And the answer is, the circle would expand and your amount of thankfulness for life would give you almost the identical score, or at least it would give you the surface area that was inside your shape that when you joined the dots in the previous sheet. So the surface area wouldn't change, it just would maybe change its shape as to where you put your energy. And what we're trying to do here is expand the circle. Bigger gratitude, bigger self-worth, bigger appreciation for life, bigger wealth. It goes like that. It's very simple. Now I'm going to ask you to look at how to become more thankful for yourself. And there's 2 sheets of paper here. I'm not going to go through them in too much detail here because I'll talk to you on the phone about them. And they're quite self-explanatory. But this is how we build self-worth. We appreciate ourselves. Now there's 2 sides of appreciation. One is called infatuation, where we think we're better than who we are. And the other is called resentment, where we think we're worse than who we are. So we don't want to be infatuated or resentful, because infatuation attracts people to beat us down and resentment attracts people to try and build us up so we get rescued. So we don't want either of those things to happen. We'd rather just flatten the playing field and become thankful for who we are. And this form is a very powerful form for becoming thankful for who we are. I'll speak to you about that over the phone. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now. Don't forget to print these 2 forms off from the attached links.